Hi guys, welcome back to another exciting tutorial. I'm Zuli. In this tutorial, we're going to learn to build this beautiful website you're seeing on the screen. So we're going to be building this website, this simple and amazing website with just HTML and CSS only. We're just going to be building this amazing website you're seeing. This is the navigation. These are the navigation links. As you can see, the links are working perfectly. This is the Euro section. We have some text here and we have two buttons here. Okay, so this is what we'll be building basically in this website. This is the image. We'll be working on this. Okay, so we'll be adding some animation as well to make it look good. As you can see right now on the screen, we'll be adding animation. We'll be working on all of this. We'll bring this to life. We use the copy we have to build this. Okay, so this is what we'll be building basically. All of this is what we'll be working on, how to create this amazing effects. We'll learn to create this as well. We'll learn to create every single thing you see on the screen. We're going to learn to create everything. So that's it. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to create the folder. So in my folder, I'm going to create index.html and I'm also going to create style.css. I said earlier that we're using just HTML and CSS. So let's get started. So I'm going to add the link of my CSS. This tutorial is for beginners. So I believe you know how to add CSS link to HTML. And I'm going to change the title to journal constructions. So we'll start with the body. So first off, I'm going to comment out every section we want to work on. So this is me getting all the comments. So we've started with navbar, the body, companies worked with. So we'll be writing out we'll comment out every section we're going to work on first. So we'll just move along with it. So this is what we'll be working on, recent projects for the project. Then we're going to have a lot. This is just what we're going to work on in this tutorial. Okay, this is for subscription. This is for the footer. Okay, so let's start with the navigation bar. So I created a div tag just now, and I'm starting with the logo. From the logo, I'm using an h1 tag for the logo, and I gave it a class name of logo name. So the logo name is going to take the name of the company, and I'm creating another div tag now for the nav links. Okay, so the nav links is going to take 4 lists and 4 links. So we're going to embed a link within the list. So that is me embedding a link. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it for 3 more times. So that makes it 4. So this is going to take about us. This is going to take projects. And this is going to take contact us. Okay. So I'm going to check it live and we have it here. This is what we're trying to build. This is what we currently have. So let's start with the styling. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to style the margin and padding. I'm going to set it to 0. Okay. Next thing I'm going to work on is for the links. Text decoration, I'm going to set it to none for every link. And I'm going to set the color of all the links to white. So now I'm going to start with each section. We're starting with the navbar section. So for the navbar section, I'm going to start with the width. Then I'm going to set the display to flex. I'm going to justify it, the content to space around. The margin, I'm going to set it to this value. Okay. Then next thing is the logo name. So for the logo name, I'm going to set the color to black. And I'm going to set the font size as well. I'm also going to set the font width. For our logo name has a span tag within it. So I'm going to start with the span tag, logo name.span. So I'm going to set the color to this color code. Alright, so next thing we're going to style now is our nav links. So for our nav links, this is me trying to start it. We're going to set the display to flex. Then we're also going to set the gap to 20 pixels. For the nav links as well, for the lists in the nav links, the color, I'm going to set it to black. The font weight, I'm also going to set it to 600. The font size will take 18 pixels, and this is what we have currently. So I'm going to add the URL to this so it can display flex. So the list style, I'm going to set it to none. I don't want any styling in the list. Then we're going to work on the over effects for the lists. So I'm going to set the color to this color code. So if you hover on it, this is the color you're going to see. So this is what we're trying to build. This is what we have currently. Let's continue. Next is to work on the body section. So I'm going to create a div tag for home, an ID of home. Set 2 div tags for left and right. I'll give the class name of left and right. Within the left, I'm going to set another div tag for the text in the home section. So the text is taking this. This is what we want to try to build now. Okay. Then I'm going to copy this as well. I'll just copy all of it so it will be faster to work on. Then I'll add the break tag to it. Then we need another span tag because we want to set the color for this last text. So I'm going to add the break tag to this. Okay, so this is what we have now. Next is to work on the p tag. So for the p tag, I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to paste it in here. Okay, I'm going to create another div for the button. So for the buttons, we're going to have 2 buttons. The first button is going to take explore, while the second button is going to take contact us. Alright, so for the first button, we want it to link us to the project. Okay, so that's why I added the link tag. So I'm going to create another div tag for the values. So the value, I'm going to create another div tag for value itself. So the first value is going to take an h3 tags 25,000 and a p tags for projects property completed. But I'm going to copy this and paste it. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, add another HR tag, then paste it in here. So then I'm going to correct all of this. This is not going to take that, it's going to take total employee, then that is 15,000 and this is 5,000. So this is what we have now. Next is to create, so I'm going to copy all of these images because this is what we'll be working, these are the images we'll be making use of. So I got my images from Pixels. You can check out the website. They have free images that you can use for samples on your websites. So let's start with styling. So for the styling, I'm just going to write a comment here. So I'm starting with the home. I'm setting the height to 100 VH. The width, I'm setting it to this value as well. I'm setting the display to flex. And I'm going to set the background image to this value. You can pause it to carefully look at it to get the values. Next thing we're going to work on now is the left section of the home. So for the left section, we're going to set the width to 50%. and I'm going to set the margin left to 50 pixels. I'm going to set the margin top as well. I'm going to set to this value. Then the next thing we're going to work on now, let's see, we have this right now. So the next thing we need to work on is this home text. So for the home text, I'm going to add for the H2 tag in the home text. I'm going to set the font size to 60 pixels. Next is to create for this span tag. Okay, so I'm going to set the color to this color code. Next is to work on the paragraph tag. So I'm going to set the margin top to this value. Let's see. Then we need to work on the buttons as well. So for the buttons, I'm going to set the margin top. I'm going to set it to 25 pixels. And the background color to this color code. The color, I'm going to set it to white. That is the text color. And the border radius, 50 pixels. The border, I'm going to set it to none. Then the width is going to take this value. The height is also going to take 55 pixels. Font size is going to take 16 pixels. That is the font for the text in the button. And the font weight is going to take 600. The cursor, I'll set it to pointer. And I'm going to set the transition to this value. So the border radius is going to take 50 pixels, 0 pixel, 50, 0. Let's see. This is what we have now. So it takes 50 pixel at the right, 50 pixel on the left, and the top and bottom has nothing. So the hover effect on the button, I'm going to set it to transform. This is what we have now. Okay. So next is to work on the end child. That is, I want to work on each of the buttons using the end child features. So I'm setting the border to 2 pixels solid white for the first button. Then I'm going to work on the second button. The second button, I'm going to add the background of white. Then the color of the text is going to take black. So the border is going to take 2 pixels solid and this color code. Okay, so the margin left, to create space between the two buttons, I'm going to set the margin left of this to 16 pixels. This is what we have right now. This is what we're trying to build. Next is to work on these values, class name values. For this, I'm going to set the display to flex, margin top to 40 pixels, justify the content at the space between. Then I'm going to work on the value, the class name value itself. So for this, I'm going to set the font size to 30 pixels. Then I'm going to work on the P tag as well. For the P tag, I'm going to set the margin top 10 pixels. The font size is going to take 10 pixels. Let us see. It's looking okay. Then we need to work on the image. So the image is on the right side, so we're using the class name that has right. So for the image, the position is going to be absolute. The height is going to take 90 VH and the width is going to take 570 pixels. Object fit should take cover, and now everything is okay. Next is to work on this section for companies worked with. So I created a div tag with a class name of work image and an ID of work image. So I'll be using 5 images. So the first image is going to take this. Second is going to take Spotify logo. Fourth is going to take this. 5th is going to take this, and the 6th is going to take this. Okay, this is what we have currently. Let us style it. So I'm going to copy this class name and paste it here. Then I'll add this properties. Margin left of 50 pixels. Width, I'm going to set the width to 90%. The height is going to take 180 pixels. The border radius is going to take 60 pixels. And the box shadow is going to take this value. So the next thing I'm going to work on now is this image itself. So the margin top for this is 20, margin left I set to 50 pixels, the width will be 150, the height of the image will be 60%, 60 pixels, my bad. So let's move on to this other section for why choose us, which is going to be the about section. So for this section, I'm going to start with the choice details. Now I'll create another div tag for the left and the right section. So I'll start with the left section. Left section will contain an image. This is the image I would be using. Then for the right section, we're going to start with the header. The header is going to take an h2 tag. That is going to take this text. I'll be using this text for it. Then another thing I'm going to be working on is the description. So I created a div tag with the class name of choice description. Then we'll start with the description logo. I would come back to the logo later because we're getting our logo from Rems icons. So for this choice details, I'm going to be adding an h2 tag and a paragraph tag. Then I'll copy this and paste this 3 times. Okay, so for the first one, we're going to copy this so it will be faster, and we're going to copy this text as well, since this is what we're trying to build actually. So the second one as well, we're going to copy this second text here and we're going to paste it. Okay, so you're just going to write whatever you want to replace yours with. Now to the logo. So go to this link, then search for the home logo, then you click on that GitHub, copy this. So go back to the GitHub now, then you're going to see this link in here. Copy the link and paste it in your head tag, within your head tag. Then copy the particular code for the logo you need, then paste it where you want it to be sent. So you're going to copy the GitHub link, paste it within your head tag, then copy for the logo itself. So let's start styling. So the first thing I'm going to do now is start with the choice container. So within it, I'm going to add a width of 90%. The height is going to take 80 VH. The margin top, I'm going to set it to 30 pixels. Next thing I want to do is for the choice details. So for the choice details, so this choice details, come on. So display, I'm going to set it to flex. Next is the choice left and the image. Let's set the image so everything can look okay and we can see what we're trying to do. So the width is going to take 570 pixels for the image. The height is going to take 680 pixels. The border top left radius is 50% and the border top right radius will be 50%. Object fit is going to take cover. Now this is what we have. Okay, So another thing I'm going to do now is to work on the right section of the choice container and the left section. I want to give both a margin left of 40 pixels. So let's see, this is what we have. Next, I'm going to work on the choice header in the choice right container. So I'm working on the H2 tag. The font size is 35 pixels. It has a span tag actually, so we're going to set the color to this color code. Next thing I want to do now is to work on the choice description that is within the right section of the choice container. So for the choice description, I'm going to set the display to flex. Then I'm going to set the gap of 30 pixels. Then the next thing I want to do now is to work on the choice logo. So for the choice logo, I'll use the I tag. The font size is going to take 30 pixels. Then I'm going to work on the choice details. So for the choice details, I'm going to set the display in here to flex as well. Flex direction is going to take colon. Then I'm going to work on the H2 tag in the choice details. So for the H2 tag, I'm going to set the font size to 22 pixels and the margin bottom is going to take 5 pixels. Next thing I want to go back to the right container itself. I want to set the display to flex. Then the flex direction, I'm going to set it to colon. So everything shows as a colon. So the gap as well is going to take 30 pixels and the margin top is going to take 80 pixels. So this is what we have currently. This is not looking okay. Okay, so I'm just going to add this to it. Then everything is okay. Alright. Another thing we're going to work on now is this recent project. So I'm creating a div tag with the class name of projects and an ID of projects. So I'm going to start with the header. So within the header, we're going to have some info here. And this is going to take this text, find our latest project. Next thing I want to do is to create another div tag, a button. Let's create a button for explore more. Then I'm going to create another div tag for the project items. Within the project item container, I'm going to create a div tag for the item itself, which is going to contain the image and is also going to contain the info about the project. So within the info container, we're going to have an h4 tag. And I'm also going to create a p tag. I'll come back to that and add the text to it. Then we're also going to have a link for view project details. So I just pasted this within the p tag. And I'm going to copy the item itself and paste it 5 times. That's going to make 6 items. So for the image, I'm going to use this image I have here already in my folder. So right now I'm only trying to add images to the image container in the item container, so the image tag in the item container. Next thing I'm going to do now is to start with styling. So for the project itself, I'm going to set the padding to this value. Then I'm going to start with the header. For the header, I'm going to add the display. I'll set it to flex. Align item is going to take center. Justify content to take space between, and the margin top would take this value. Margin bottom is also going to take this value. Next is to work on the info. So for the info, I'm going to start with the H3 tag. The font size, I will set it to 55 pixels. Then the button. For the button, so I'll start with the project, the header, and button element. The padding is going to take this value. Then the color is going to take white, which is the text color. Display will be set to flex. Cursor will be set to pointer. And also I'm going to set a gap of 8 pixels. Border of none. Then I'm also going to set the border radius to this value, 50 pixel on the right, 0 pixel top, 50 pixel on the left, and 0 pixel at the bottom. The width is going to take this value, the height is going to take this value, the font size is going to take 16 pixels, and the font width is going to take 600. So transition, I'm going to add this value to it. Then the background is going to take this value. So this is what we have currently. I need to align the items to the center so the text can be at the center of the button. Next thing I'm going to work on is this project items. So for project items, I'm going to set the display to grid. The grid template colon is going to repeat 3 items per faction, and I'm going to align the items to center, justify the content, space between. Then I'm going to work on the item class name itself. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it in here. The width here is going to take 50%. The background color is going to take this color. The border radius is going to take 10 pixels. And the border bottom is going to take this value. Then the box shadow is also going to take this value and this color code. Another thing we need to set here is the transition. And I'm also going to set the cursor to pointer. So the next thing I'm going to work on is the hover effect. So for the hover effect, I'm going to set the transform to this scale of 1.1. So the images inside the item container, I'm going to set the width to 100%. The height is going to take 240 pixels, and the object fit is going to take cover. The object position itself is going to take top, and the border radius is going to take 10 pixels, 20, 20. So this is what we have right now. We still need to work on this info container. So I'm going to copy this, paste this. So for the info container, I'm going to set the font size to 20 pixels. Oh, the container itself, is going to take display of flex direction of colon, my bad, gap of 14 pixels. Padding should take this value. This should be perfect. Then I'm going to style the H4 tag in the container. So the font size is going to be 20 pixels. Then I'm going to style the paragraph tag in the info container. So the font size here is going to take 13 pixels. Then we're going to work on the link tag and the info container. So the text decoration will take underline. The next is to work on the text underline offsets. I'm going to set it to 10 pixels. Then the color is going to take this color code. Then I'm going to set the text decoration color to this color code. So this is what we have currently. Next is to move to this theme container, so the theme section. So I created a div tag for theme, then an h1 tag for header. I gave it a class name of header. So this is the text in here. So I'm creating another paragraph tag for the text, and I copied and pasted this. Then I'm going to create another paragraph tag that will take this. So I'm trying to create the theme image. For the theme image, it's going to contain a slider. So I'm giving the div tag a name as slider container. Within it, I'm going to create an input for a radio button. The name is going to take slider. The ID is going to take C1, and I have it as checked. So I created another tag for label for C1, and the class name is going to take this. It's going to take card. Then I've created another div tag for role. Within the div tag container, I'm going to create another div tag for description, which is just simply going to take the name of the team member. And we're going to have, let's just give an example, the position of the team member. Just going to give the senior architect, something like that. Then I'm going to copy this input container 4 times and paste it. So I'm changing the name right now. And I'm also changing the position. So I'm changing this to an SLV. Then I'm changing this to creative director, to creative developer here. Then I'm also changing this name. Then I'm changing the position as well to CFO. So let's start with styling. The first thing we want to do here is to set the heights. So 100 VH. Next is to move to this header. For this header, I'm going to set the font size to 50 pixels. And the font width is going to take 600. Text align is going to take center. Then for the header, we have a span tag in here. So I'm setting the color to this color code. Next is to work on the P tag with the class name of text. So I'm going to set the margin top to 20 pixels. Then I'm going to work on the P tag itself. So I'm going to set the font size here to 18 pixels. Text align is going to take center. Why is it not working? Therefore, okay, I corrected that just now. So for the theme image, the display is going to take flex. The width is going to take 100%. Align items is going to take center. And justify content is going to take center as well. The margin top is going to take this value. For the slider control, for the slider container, display is going to take flex. Let's set the flex wrap to no wrap. The height, I'm going to set it to 400 pixels. Justify all content start. Next is to work on this card. For the card, I'm going to set the display to flex. The width is going to take this value, 80 pixels. Border radius is going to take 0.75 rem. And the background size is going to take cover. Then I want to set the overflow to hidden. Also, I'm going to set the margin to this value. Align items should flex end. The cursor is set to pointer. And the box shadow, I'm going to set it to this value also, with this color code. So I'm also going to set the transition in here. I'll be using cubic. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to set it to this value. Border radius here is going to take this. So this is what we currently have now. So what else do we have in the card? We have a div container for the class name of row. So for the row, I'm going to set it display to flex. Flex wrap will take no wrap. And the color is going to take white. Next is the description. So for the description, actually, the first thing we want to do here, let me copy and paste this in here. So for the description, we want to set the display to flex as well. Justify the content in the center. Oh, come on. This is going to take center. And the flex direction is going to take colon. Next thing we want to do is set the overflow to hidden. Then the height as well. I'm going to set it to 80 pixels. The width is going to take 520 pixels. And the margin left is going to take 40 pixels. Opacity is going to take 0. And I want to set this transform property. I want it to translate on the y-axis by 30 pixels. So I'm going to set the transition delay to 0.3 seconds. Then the transition itself to this value. Then I'm going to copy this and I'm going to add a p tag so we can work on the paragraph. So the color is going to take white. Padding top is going to take 5 pixels. Next I'll copy and paste this and I'm working on the h3 tag now. So for the h3 tag, I'm going to set the text transform to uppercase. The color is going to take white. And the font size is going to take this value. Next thing I want to work on is the input tag. So the input tag is within the slider container, so that's why I copied and pasted that. So the display will be none. We don't want any of it displayed. Next thing I want to work on now is the input that is already checked. Okay. For now, everything is checked, so that is why this is not working. Okay, so we're going to uncheck them later. I want to insert the image into the cards. Okay, so for C1, I'm going to set the background image using this URL property. So I'm going to set the background image to this first image. Then I'm going to copy this and paste it 3 times. So that's the sum of 4. So I'm going to set this to 3 and I'm going to set this to 4. Okay. Then I'm going to change the URL for the image based on my preference. Then also I need to set the checked description, the item that is checked. I want to set the description container opacity should be 1, and it should transform and translate by this. So as you can see, this is currently not working if we click on it. So I'm going to uncheck every other one, and I'm going to change the ID. I'm also going to uncheck this, and I'm going to change the ID to their respective IDs. I'm going to uncheck this as well. I'm also going to correct this. So if we click on any of this, it is working perfectly well. Okay, so that is all about this section. So this is me checking if it's working. It is working. Next thing we want to work on is this customer review. So for the client feedback, I'm going to create a div tag with a class name of feedback and an ID of feedback. And I'm going to create an h5 tag with this text in it. Also, I'm going to create an h3 tag with this text as well. Then I'm going to create a div tag for customers. So for the customers, within the customer container, I'm creating another div tag for item. Then I'm creating another div tag for user. The user container is going to take the image tag, and I just added an image to it. Then we'll have another div tag for info. So within the info tag, we're going to have the customer's name. I'm going to have the name of the company. So I'm just going to use Starbucks just as an instance. Next is to create the div tag for the comment, the paragraph for the comment. So I'm just going to assume that this is the comment the customer made. So I'm going to copy this and paste this twice. That makes it 3 containers. Then right here, I'm just trying to edit the images. Next thing now is to start styling. So I just made a comment. So for feedback, I'm setting the padding to this value. And also, let's start with the h3 tag. I'm going to set the font size to 20 pixels. Then for the h3 tag, I'm going to set the font size to this value, 35 pixels. Then for the span tag within the h3 tag, I'm going to set the color to this color code. Next thing I want to work on is the customer section. I'm just going to go copy, then paste it in here, paste the class name. So the margin top is going to take 30 pixels. Display is going to take flex. Gap is going to take 40 pixels. Next thing I want to work on now in the customer section is the item class name. So the display is going to take flex, and the flex direction will take column. The gap as well is going to take this value. The border radius is simply going to take 10 pixels. Padding is going to take 30 pixels. And the cursor pointer transition is going to take this value, or 0.3 seconds east. Then the box shadow is going to take this value as well. Okay, the next thing I want to work on is the over effect of the items. So I'm going to set it to transform scale of 1.1. Next thing I want to work on now is this user. I'm going to work on the paragraph tag. The line height, I'm going to set it to 22 pixels. The font size is going to take 14 pixels. And another thing we need to work on in here is this user container. So for the user container, the display is going to take flex. Align items is going to take center. And the gap is going to take 10 pixels. Okay, let's see. And the user container, we have an image. So I'm trying to set the width of the image to 40 pixels. The height as well is going to take 40 pixels. And object fit is going to take cover. Border radius is going to take 50%. That's going to form a circle. This is what we have currently. Okay. Next thing we're going to work on is the h5 tag and the user container. Font size is going to take 13 pixels. Font weight is going to take 500. Margin bottom is going to take 2 pixels. We also have a p tag in the user container, so I'm setting the font size to 12 pixels. This is what we have currently. Next thing is to work on the subscription section. So for the subscription section, I just created the class name of subscribe and an ID of subscribe. So I'm creating an h2 tag that will take a class name of sub header. So that is going to take subscribe to our newsletter. Next thing to create is a paragraph tag for the subtext. It is going to take this value that I'm going to create another div tag, which is going to take a class name of sub input. Then create an input tag for text, and it will take a placeholder of enter email. Then I'm also going to create a button that will say subscribe. Let's start with the styling. So for this styling, I'm going to set the width of the subscription container itself to 100%. The height is going to take 280 pixels. Margin top is going to take 180 pixels. And we're going to set the background color of this color code. So this is what we have. Next is to work on the sub header. So for the sub header, I'm going to set the margin top of this as well to 28 pixels. Text align will take center, and the font size is going to take 45 pixels. The color is going to take black. And for the subtext, I'm going to set the margin top of this as well to 18 pixels. Text align is going to take center. Font size is going to take 18 pixels. Next is the sub input. For sub inputs, display is going to take flex. Margin top is going to take 20 pixels. Then I'm going to work on the input tag itself. So for this input tag, I'm going to set the width to 55%. The height is going to take 50 pixels. The margin left is going to take 150 pixels. And the border is going to take 2 pixels solid with this color code. Border radius is going to take 50% by the right, 0% top, 50 center, as you can see. Next thing we want to work on is the placeholder. So I'm going to set the font size to 18 pixels. The color is going to take black, and the padding left is going to take 30 pixels. Then we're going to work on the focus property. So I want the padding left to take 30 pixels. So this is what we have right now. Next is to work on the button and the sub input container. The width, I'm going to set it to 150 pixels. That should do it. The height is going to take 55 pixels. Background is going to take this color code, and the border radius is going to take this. Okay. Then the border is going to take none. Font size of the text should take 18 pixels, will be okay. And the font weight is going to take 600. Color would be white. Margin left should take 44 pixels. So this is what we currently have. Then lastly, we need to work on the footer section. For the footer section, I'm creating a div tag with a class name of footer and an ID of footer. Then I'm creating another div tag within it that is going to take the sections. So for this section, I have an h2 tag that will take this text, and I have a paragraph tag that is also taking this text. Then I'm creating another div tag in here for second section, section 2. This is going to take an h2 tag for resources. And I'm going to create a list in here. So for the list, I'm going to have 4 list items. The first one is going to take our agent. Second is going to take videos. Third is going to take partners. And the last one is going to take projects. I'm going to copy and paste this once. Then I'm just going to edit this. This will take company. This is going to take about us. Then the second one is going to take contact. This is going to take privacy policy. And this is going to take services. Let us see. Then I'm going to create the copyright section. So for the copyright, I created a div tag with a class name of footer copy and an HR tag. Next, to create a p tag for copy itself. Let's start by styling. For the footer, the height is going to take 300 pixels. Background is going to take this color code. The display is going to take flex. Padding in line of 100 pixels. The gap should be 50 pixels. This is what we have right now. So for the h2 tag in the footer section, I'm going to add a margin bottom of 20 pixels. Margin top of 30 pixels. Next is to work on the paragraph tag in the footer section. The width is going to take 40%. Let us see. Next is to work on this section too. So for this footer, come on, section 2. So for this, the line height here is going to take 30 pixels. Margin left, let me set it to minus 20 pixels. And the width is going to take 35%. Next thing I want to work on is the list section 2 UL. So for these lists, list style will be set to none. I don't want any form of list styling. I'm also going to work on this copyright section in the footer copy. I'm basically going to set the margin left to 150 pixels. Then I'm going to work on the HR tag. I'm going to style it. I'm going to set the width to 80%. 80% should do it. Margin top is going to take minus 50 pixels. And thus the paragraph tag, the p tag in the copyright should take text align center. Font size is going to take 18 pixels. Margin top is going to take this. So this is what we have currently, and we're done with building this website. Next thing to work on is this link. So I used an ID here. I believe we understand this. So I'm just going to copy and paste the ID for this about in the about section and paste it in the link that is supposed to go to the About Us section. So this is it. Next is the project. Let's go to the project section, and I'll copy the ID in here and paste it beside this hash. For this explore button here, we want it to be the project as well. So this is it. The nav links are working perfectly well. And we click on this is what we have. If we compare this particular finished product has an animation, while the one we just worked on does not have an animation yet. So the next thing we're going to work on is how to get this animation effect using scroll review. So I'm going to search for scroll review on the internet. So you go to this link for scroll review, click on this GitHub icon, then go way down to click on the link for your scroll review, copy it and paste it within your head tag. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do now is to create another script tag for the scroll review section itself. So right now I'm going to set the duration of the scrolling. Okay, I'm setting it to 2500. The origin, it should start from the top. I want it to review from the top. The distance should take, let's say, 60 pixels. 60 pixels should be okay. Then the delay, I'm going to add a delay of 400. And I'm going to move down section just before the closing tag of the body. Then I'm adding a comment for scroll review. Next is to create another script tag. So I'm going to start with the scroll review. Scroll review dot review. Then I'll open a bracket. Then I'm going to select the class name of the sections I want to work with. So I just selected the home section. For this, the second, I copied and pasted this. I want to work on the home image. So I'm going to set a delay of 600 here. So it's going to delay by 600. Now I'm going to copy and paste this again. Then the work image, we have a class name for work image. I'm going to set the delay to 900, so you can see as we scroll. I set the delay to 800. Sorry. Another thing I want to work on is the choice section, which is for the about section. The right section, I'm going to set the delay to 900, and the origin, I'm going to set it to right. So it's going to slide in from the right. I'm going to add a comma to this. Okay. So this is coming in from the right. I'm going to copy this and paste this again, and we're going to work on the class name with choice left. So the origin is going to take left. Then I'm going to set the delay to 1000, as you can see. Next thing I want to work on is the project. So I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to set the interval to 300, and the delay is going to take 1200. So if I scroll down, this is what we have. Next is to set for the theme. I'm not setting any delay, so I'm just going to set for every other section. I'm using their class name. So I've already set for feedback, subscribe, footer. So this is what we have. If you scroll down, you can see the animation. You can see the animation in here. The theme, I'm here to set for the theme. this theme here, I'm going to add the theme here. Okay, so I'm just going to reload this. As you can see this animation is working perfectly well. Thank you so much, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, and I hope you work on this project also. Thank you very much.